Hey everyone, welcome back to Power Pro Academy. In today's video, we are going to build a REST API using Python and Flask and also deploy it for free on random. If you have ever wondered what an API is, how it works and how to create one from scratch, this video is for you. So make sure to watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe if you find this helpful. Let's get started. So before we start coding, let's quickly understand what an API is. So an API, which is Application Programming Interface, allows two applications to communicate with each other. You use APIs every day without even realizing it. For example, when you check the weather app on your phone, it calls an API to fetch live weather data. Or when you log in with Google or Facebook on a website, APIs handle that authentications. So basically there are two main types of APIs. The first one is RESTful API, which is representational state transfer. It is the most commonly used and it works with JSON data. The second one is GraphQL API, which is more flexible and used by Facebook, GitHub, etc. So in this video, we will create a REST API using Flask, which is one of the most popular Python framework. So alright. Let's start by setting up our Flask project. So first make sure you have Python installed. So now we have to create a folder, and in the folder I have to create one more folder and I am giving it a name which is Flask API. Now the second step is to install Flask. So go into terminal and write pip install Flask and the Flask library will be installed in your system. So now let's create our API. So from this step, our real code will deliver. So in the folder, let's create a new file named app.py where we write our code. So first of all, we have to import our library which we installed earlier. So from Flask, import Flask and jsonify because we have to return the JSON data. Now we have to create our app. So app equals to Flask name. I have a data set. So there is a programming language data set which I have. So I am writing it there. And now the most important part, to call an API. So first of all, I want to get all the languages of that particular API. So at the app.route API/languages, and the method is get because we have to get the data. So the function looks like this. So def get languages and we have to return jsonify languages. Now in the second call, I have to get my programming language with the help of indexing. So at the app.route API languages int index and the method is get. Now my function looks like something like that. So def get language by index. I have to pass the parameter index and here I have to write a condition. So if 0 is less than equals to index less than length of language, we have to return jsonify language index or the language on that particular index. And if the criteria was not met, then we have to return an error which is error language not found. Now the last function where I have to get languages by name. So at the app.route API/languages/string lang name and the method is also get. So in this function, def get languages by name, parameter is language name, and in the function I have to run a for loop which is for lang in languages. If lang name.lower equals to lang name.lower, then we have to return jsonify that particular language, and if the language was not found, we have to return error language not found. So this is the whole code of our API. Now we have to just run it. So if name equals to main app.run. Now let's run it on the Flask server which is run locally on our system. So go back to our terminal and type python space app.py and you can see your API is running at your local system. Now we have to live this API So what we have to do to live it? So first of all, we have to create a file which is requirements.txt. Because we have some dependency on the code, so we have to write those library here. So the first one is Flask and the second one is Ganikan, which help our code to get live. Now let's host our API on render so anyone can access it online. So the first thing which we have to do is to push our code to GitHub. So if you haven't already initialized Git, then here is the code. So git init to initialize the Git. Now we have to add all the file. So git add dot. Now we have to make our first commit. So git commit -m first commit. Now I am calling the main branch. So git branch -main, and we have to create our new repository. So git remote add origin and your repository address. Now we have to just push our code into that repository. So git push -u origin main, and yes, our code is pushed into our GitHub repository. Now we have to just deploy it on render. So go to render.com and create an account. Now click new web services, and here you have to click connect GitHub repository. Select your Flask repository, select the programming language as Python, and now you can select. After clicking the deploy, our API is going to live. Now as we deployed our API on live, let's test our API. So to get all programming languages, we have to write this. So HTTP, and to get a language by index, so we can write it like this. Now the last one, to get a language by name. So here I'm writing it, and yes, I got my desired result. So it works perfectly, and that's it. We just built a Flask API from scratch, deployed it on render for free, and tested it successful. If you found this video helpful, smash the like button and subscribe for more amazing content. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll be see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye, happy coding.